Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Super Mario Bros. 2. In the last part, we started off World 6 and now we're gonna go finish it off with... the entire reason I played as Peach for like the past 5 levels, because I thought this level was in World 5 for some reason. This level takes place entirely over a bottomless pit, more or less, and you have to ride albatrosses all over the place. There are cases like this where there are islands along the way with either panzers to try to annoy you, or even vegetables you can try to uproot is the keyword there. But if you try and get the mushroom from over there, you have to jump to the right and get on another albatross or that thing right there to right to the left, and it's pretty hard to do that, so it's just best to completely ignore it and just dance on the albatross to the music. Because we all do this in games, no matter if it's shooting in Mega Man to the music, ducking and bobbing your head in Sonic, so on and so forth. We all do this no matter what game series we're playing. And now it's time for the Birdo for this stage, which is actually one of the hardest Birdos in the game, purely because the room layout is kind of annoying, plus they only give you 2 mushroom blocks. I admit, I like that they actually get kind of clever with how the difficulty curve works with the Birdos, but it doesn't suffer from being annoying, and then there's shit like that happens! Oh boy. And oh, twice, really? Oh, you're just being a real dick to me, game. And there we go. You should know how to deal with Birdos by now, because, let's see, there's 20 levels in the game and roughly 16 Birdos at the least. But now it's time for World 6-3, which I am tackling with Mario. Because why not? Now, 6-3 is an interesting case in that, like the first level, I think, there's actually a shortcut in this level. You may have noticed when we climbed up their ladder, there was quicksand not only to the right of us, like below where I am, but also to the left, but there was a wall to the left as well. However, you can sink in the quicksand to the left of that ladder just enough to actually jump consistently underneath that wall, and you'll come to the other side where there is a door, and I think that might be where the mushroom is as well. That door leads you more or less right to the boss fight. There's a minor platforming section first, but yeah, nice little shortcut there for people who want to take it. I'm trying to show off as much of the game as I can, though, so I'm trying to actually show off the full levels. Although, notably, when I am playing this game for myself, which is rare, I do usually use as many of the shortcuts as I can, be it in the levels themselves or the warp zones. Because I kind of just want this game to be over with a lot of the time. More on that during the credits. Now, I think I even mentioned it when I was talking about the Phanto kill, the last part of the part before. But one mechanic that I completely forgot about in this game because I rarely ever see it, because I rarely ever use something like it, is the stopwatch. Essentially, I think if you pull 4 of the same kind of vegetable out in a row, it might be a bit iffy on that. The 5th one will actually be a stopwatch, which, similar to other games like the stopwatch sub-weapon in Castlevania and such, or the one in Legend of Zelda especially, when you collect it, will freeze time around you, and it's not like you freeze the screen. You can still move left to right and scroll. It's basically have fun, get the hell out of there kind of thing. I rarely ever see it because most of the time when I'm attacking in this game, I'm actually usually using other enemies more so than vegetables, and even then when I'm using vegetables, I don't think I pull up 5 of the same type if that's how it works. Mind you, again, I rarely ever see it, so I might be a bit iffy on how it works. I know it's there, I just rarely see it. Now, these are really long vines. I'm kind of surprised it didn't make any kind of Jack and the Beanstalk kind of things with it. Though now I think about it, I'm fairly certain there was a Jack and the Beanstalk episode of Super Show. Oh, and that's that cloud up there in the top right. That's where the shortcut will bring you. So it'll bring you all the way here to this Birdo fight, which is a red Birdo in a really annoying arena. Notable, they only put that mushroom block there so you can use it to super jump up here if you're one of the lower jumping characters like Toad. Thankfully, this is a red Birdo, so they at least planned around that. Though the eggs hitting the eggs like that is still annoying. You know, though, I know I've mentioned the voice clips in passing in Mario Advance a couple of times, and when it's not the characters going, yeah, wah, and all that stuff, the one that'll always stand out in my mind is Birdo's, I'm going to finish you off! And I don't know why, maybe it's just because I had a lot of trouble actually defeating Birdo as a kid, but either way, World 6's boss is Triclide again. I think Triclide is the only boss that no matter what version you play, you will face more than once. Birdo notwithstanding, obviously. Either way, that's World 6, one world left, and it's the shortest world of all. World 7 is only 2 levels long. However, they're 2 of the longest levels in the game. And obviously, they're also the hardest. World 7, 1 isn't too bad, though it has an interesting kind of backtrack mechanic going on. You might remember back in World 4-3, I believe it was, where we had a Birdo at the very start, and we had to ride on one of their eggs to just get to the end. In this case, we need to head right and then end up backtracking left using an albatos. And I screwed up with where the mushroom is. Great. Ah, well, I don't really need it too much for 7-1. Plus, there's another mushroom area right here. You know, that's fine and dandy. Oh, and there it is. I wonder what I'm actually not sure, rather, what the highest amount of health you can get per stage is. Or rather, what the highest amount you can theoretically get physically. Because the highest I've ever gotten is 4. I'm thinking it's probably possible to get to 5 in some instances. But I wonder what the physical limit is. Like, say, if you hack the game or able to give yourself multiple mushrooms. I'm thinking the limit before things start to get screwy would probably be 5 or 6. Because that's the most I could see them hard coding. But, I guess we'd see. Hacking can show many wonders. Though, for some reason, hacking reminds me. What's the speedrun record for this game? I don't know why they just came to my mind, but it just seems like a game that you can get some good speed out of, especially given some of the physics you can get with, like, Luigi. 8 minutes! Wow, that's about as much time as there is left in this video. Also, yeah, in this little clad area, you do need to go the long way around, because you cannot walk through these pillars at all, so little platforming challenge there. And looking at the speedrun, looks like they go right from 1-1 to World 4 using the warp zone, then from 4-2 to 6-1, and then they just kind of gun it through the rest of the game. I would estimate their favorite characters are probably Luigi due to his jump height, and Toad for most levels due to his running speed, just being that much faster. And skimming through the speedrun, looks like I'm pretty right about that. Now, if I recall the level design correctly, yes we are. We're approaching our last Gray Birdo. And good, because I hate Gray Birdos. I hate them with a passion. Though, admittedly, Luigi makes this a bit easier than it should be, just given his floating control, and for some reason it just makes it really easy for me to avoid Birdo. I can't exactly place what it is. Mind you, it helps that compared to some of the fights we've had with Gray Birdos, this is a much wider platform. Also, weird little thing that I'm seeing now that reminds me. In All-Stars, you could actually take off Birdo's ribbon for some reason. I'm not sure if you could... Oh, respawning. I'm not sure if it counted as an attack, though, if you threw it at Birdo. It's been so long since I last played Advanced that I can't exactly recall everything. Either way, with these last roulettes and me getting jack shit, really, wow. Oh, no, there's one thing. It's time for our last level in the game, 7-2, which, of course, I'm taking on as Mario. 7-2 is a bit of an odd level in that it incorporates a lot of aesthetics, and it's also really big. I'm talking like a lot of optional pathways or alternate pathways that can get you to more or less the same location. At least for this game's level design. There's like 2 or 3 actual pathways, but for this game, that's a good amount. They do throw everything at you here, so be prepared. Basically, every enemy variety appears here in what's considered usually their deadliest incarnation. No, sparks are still sparks. At least I think that's what these things are called. That's what they're called in Zelda. Now, if there's one thing I can say about this final level, it's that it's big, yes, but until the last third, maybe, if even fifth, it's pretty easy. The length is where most of its difficulty comes from, because I don't think checkpoints are that plentiful in it. Mind you, I don't intend to die that often, so I don't have to worry. I know one of the paths, I think most of the paths even, converge here. However, I like to go up from here because that's where actual progress is. If you jump down from there, that leads back to where I think the chain we saw earlier that led down came from, or went to. I lost where I was going with that sentence, but my point may have been made, I think. Sometimes that happens. I can speak English well, but I can't speak English well. You know what I mean? Spoken in my entire damn life and I still have trouble grasping it. Either way, we have the boss music playing, yes, but we're actually not at any boss yet. This is just the last section of the stage. However, right down here we have our actual last Birdo. A red Birdo, so thankfully eggs are things we can use. However, you might notice that it's carrying a key, and there's a Phanto right there. Yeah, they had to throw one more at us. Gotta go, 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 go. Admittedly though, this is actually one of the least deadly Phantos in the game. Purely because this is a straightforward section with just some enemies you have to kill on the way, and the key serves you very well for that. And with that, we are here. Huh, mushroom blocks, random. And this is our last change before we go to the final boss. However, I went backwards for a reason. The door is now our enemy. Admittedly, that scared the shit out of me when I first saw it because I'm so used to treating this thing as an ally of sorts, but now it's trying to kill me. And, that's not allowed. 3 hits and it's down. Very floaty pattern. If you just stick to the bottom of the screen, you're generally good. But now it's time for the final boss of the game and the main villain, Wart. You might remember Wart from a later game I LP'd earlier in my career, known as Link's Awakening. 6 vegetables into his mouth is all it takes. These bubbles are his only attack, though they're surprisingly hard to dodge. And by the way, one thing I forgot to mention, his gang, which is all the boss fights in him, is called the 8 bits, which is just kind of pointless. And oh, hey, a death, finally, right? Now, something that's really strange is that the game's manual doesn't even go over it. But what's in the background is known as the Dream Machine, which is a machine of the people of Subcon use to, I guess, produce dreams, but Wart has it in his throne room for some reason, even though it's the thing that's causing his demise. Oh wow, 2 deaths, impressive. Yeah, by this point, I was letting myself slip a little bit, just because I have 16 lives. Wart's annoying at times, yes, but he's not a very hard final boss. At least, compared to some other final bosses in the Mario franchise. And there he goes, I believe. Oh, no, one more shot. Now, one thing that is kind of annoying is that sometimes his bubbles will cancel out the vegetables that hatch, but at the end of the day, Wart's not very hard. And that's game. The game gives you little stats telling you how many times you played levels with each character. Notable, there are times where this can be inaccurate by a little bit, like some characters might get 1 or 2 levels removed or added to their score for some reason. No one knows exactly why it happens, I think. However, this does add up exactly to 20, which is how many levels there are in the game, rather. So, that's nice. Also, Wart's basically dead. What's that? The entire game was a dream that Mario had with a dream in it. Overused Inception joke! Yeah. That's a bit of a weird ending, but it's cute, and I love this music too. But that's Super Mario Bros. 2 USA. I have always just kind of been in the middle with this game, because I love the soundtrack, I love the way it looks, I love a lot of the mechanics that were later brought into the games, brought into later games rather. But the game itself just hasn't ever really been the most entertaining with me. I've had my fun with it, don't get me wrong, but compared to other Mario games, even though I know this isn't technically a Mario game, it's just a game that had a Mario reskin, it just has never really grabbed me. A lot of the others have. However, if there is one thing I'm willing to give this game, it's the historical value, because a lot of the later games owe a lot to this. Be it in terms of their aesthetics, again, a lot of enemies would later show up, I say as Pokey scrolls up on screen, and the misnamed Ostro with Birdo, and vice versa with Birdo with Ostro. And a lot of just the gameplay mechanics for the characters would later be brought back, and I like that. However, it's kind of sad to say that most of my fond memories of Mario 2's aesthetics and ideas and sound effects come from the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. I'll probably play this game again at some point in my lifetime, but it's going to be a while before I go back to it. If you want to play it, it was on the NES, the Game Boy Advance, the Super Nintendo through All-Stars, same with the Wii, and I think it was on most of the virtual consoles. And it's probably, I'm not sure if it's on the NES Classic, actually. It probably is, but hell if I know. And then it's probably going to come to that Switch, not virtual console thing they're doing with the online subscription. But with that, I just kicked my mic. I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great night. Take care. And I'll see you guys in the next Let's Play, whatever that may be. See you guys then.